Hey, Shalom Makim, all praise, honor, and glory is to Yahweh, by Hashem Yahweh Shai. Double honors to my teachers, the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, and to all you brothers pushing out this word in all truth, faith, and sincerity, in hopes of being delivered from this upcoming destruction. I say Shalom. All right, so I want to entitle this sitting, Does This Offend You? Because what we push here at Great Millstone primarily, all right, the brothers you see throughout the landscape of America and all throughout the world, the four corners of the world, and not just here at Great Millstone. You have certain of men who don't necessarily come under the banner of Great Millstone, yet they subscribe to what we teach and they push the same doctrine, which everything we push is filtered through the scriptures. All right. So if you're offended in what we teach, then you pretty much offended in Yahweh Shai. All right. And to prove that, I'm going to go right into the scriptures. Start off in the book of Psalms, chapter 40 and verse 7. Then said I, Lo, I come in the volume of the book. It is written of me. Yes, so Yahweh Shai's spirit actually rests in the scriptures. All right. These scriptures embody Yahweh Shai. Because what you guys don't realize out there, and I'm talking about men that's amongst us, or men who has henceforth been cast off, all right, or, the rebels that has been purged out. What you got to realize is the Lord Yahweh Shai is alive and well, all right, and he come in the volume of the book, all right. For an example, after Yahweh Shai had resurrected, after he was put to death, the story of the two men that was walking, and they was pretty much murmuring because, they was in that war is me spirit because, they thought Yahweh Shai wasn't who he said he was, all right? And what happened? Yahweh Shai suddenly appeared upon them, man. And he hid himself, and he spoke with them, all right? And they was pretty much complaining like, yeah, we thought this was the Messiah. And Yahweh Shai went off on them, all right? He pretty much rebuked them. He called them slow in heart and faithless, man, which is an example of how the Lord rolled, all right? He told us 2,000 years ago we would not be alone. He will be with us even until the end of the world. And he's going to send the comforter, which is these scriptures, all right? So you got men out there, when they get reproved or rebuked, or certain men bring certain orders, in particular the apostles, all right? Send orders through the pipeline, then they get offended, not knowing that they get offended in Yahweh Shai. Why? Because everything the true men of the Lord bring out is filtered through the scriptures. All right? This is the book of Revelation, chapter 19 and verse 13. And he was clothed with a vesture dipped in blood, and his name is called the Word of the Most High. So, yeah, now with that established, that we know that this word is representative of Yahweh Shai, meaning Yahweh Shai is here in the midst with us, all right? Then you got to ask yourself, does this offend you, man? Does these scriptures offend you, man? All right? Because for an example, you had the rape doctrine that came out, and a lot of guys became offended in that. A lot of guys who was right amongst us, all right? When you have brothers to tell you, look, man, you got to put your family to the back burner. Man, the hell with your moms. The hell with your old lady and your kids. You got to come out here and do the work, all right? There's men that's actually offended in that, meaning they're offended in Yahweh Shai. Why? Because it's found in the scriptures, all right? This is the book of Luke, chapter 14 and verse 26. If any man come to me and hate not his mother and his father and mother and wife and children and brethren and sisters, yea, and his own life also, he cannot be my disciple. So you have men who have fallen out because they couldn't deal with the fact that they had to, skip barbecues and family functions on weekends, all right? You have guys who become offended because they couldn't go to Chuck E. Cheese with their kids on Saturday or go to their kid graduation because they had to go out and do the work. And you have men that begin to murmur within themselves, and they don't really have a problem with the men that's telling them or giving them orders. In the spirit, they have a problem with Yahweh Shai because they the same spirits back then, all right? Because, hey, really, in reality, the men that become offended is those ones who actually hear the word, all right? who Yahweh Shah actually speak to. Because you can't become offended in something unless you've been corrected, all right? If the government give a certain tax, raising a tax on a certain thing, if you don't know nothing about that tax or it don't affect you or it wasn't given to you, that order didn't come out to you, then you won't be offended. The only ones who will get offended in certain orders is when they receive the order. So many of the men who become offended is those who write amongst us. Why? Because Yahweh Shah is directly speaking to them, all right? And you'll find that in the book of John, chapter 6, and starting at verse 58. This is that bread which came down from heaven, not as your fathers did eat manna and are dead. He that eateth of this bread shall live forever. And when you really go into it, that manna which the Lord fed the rebellious children in the wilderness, all right, after leaving out of Egypt, was symbolic to Yahweh Shah, all right? And what happened? They got offended in that manna. They was tired of the manna. They was offended in it, and they wanted quails and fish and meat, all right? They went to complaining that they ate better in Egypt, all right? Which that manna was representation of Yahweh Shah, all right? Verse 59, these things said he in the synagogue as he taught in Capernaum. Many therefore of his disciples, when they heard this, said, this is an hard saying, who can hear it? When Yahweh Shah knew in himself that his disciples murmured at it, he said unto them, doeth this offend you? Right. So you have that today. These are the same spirits back today. All those guys who murmur at the certain orders that come down from their camp heads or the Apostle Tahar. All right, the fact that they got to get up, go out to camp on Saturday. Well, hey, that's in the scriptures, man. All right, you got even men, when they start catching hell, they murmur at that. But it tells you in Sirach, the 2nd chapter, my son, if you come to serve the Lord, prepare thy soul for temptation and be patient when thou art changed to a lower state, all right? Don't make haste when, when that suffering, that hell come on you, man, because acceptable men is tried in the furnace of adversity, all right? Yet you got guys that become offended in that. They said, look, I got to go get a job. I got to, I got to get my financial house in order. Well, that means they was offended in Yahweh Shah, the scriptures, all right? This is the book of Matthew, chapter 13 and verse 57. I start at verse, the point is in 57, but I start at verse 54. And when he was coming to his own country, he taught them in their synagogue insomuch that they were astonished and said, whence has this man this wisdom and these mighty works? Is not this the carpenter's son? Is not this his mother called Mary, and his brethren James and Jesse and Simon and Judas, and his sisters, are they not all with us? Whence then have this man all these things? And that's the same sentiment a lot of these guys that come amongst the prophets. All right, they come into the camps and they view the things carnally. They evaluate and examine the situation carnally. Hey man, you just a man just like me. All right, who are you to sit me down and correct me? All right. You know that momentum that was going out for a minute. I'm not a man pleaser. That was the rallying cry. Well, that's the same sentiment these people here had. All right. Verse 57, and they were offended in him, all right? But Yahweh Shah said unto them, a prophet is not without honor, save in his own country and his own house. And that trickles down to different camps and Great Millstone as a whole. We're a house, man. And you're going to have men that's going to become offended. Not per se at us, even though they, they how could I say it? They display it, all right, by way of talking shit about the apostles, all right, scoffing and scorning, but it's really directed toward Yahweh Shah, all right? And this is all, it's a method to that, because that's how you purge out the rebels, these niggas, excuse my language. Why? Because in reality, they get offended, all right? This is Matthew 11 and 6, and blessed is he whosoever shall not be offended in me, all right? So you see that this whole topic of offense is a filterant, is an agent to filter niggas out, man. All right? The Lord himself actually, you know, attempt to offend you to see if you're going to deal with it. Because pretty much if you humble and meek, you're going to accept when the Lord offends you and chastise you, all right? That's why when you go into Peter, Peter was pretty much the Most High Yahushua got on Peter all the time. And the disciples. He called them slow in heart. He called them faithless. Where's your faith? All right? He pretty much called them retarded when he called them slow of heart. But they was humble, man. And they received that. In opposed of these niggas in these times, they can't take it when a man correct them, all right? Through the scriptures. Because you do have men in they lust to throw their weight around. They relish that leadership role and they use it to get after men, all right? You don't supposed to use that as a cloak to come down on men. But, the scriptures tell you, respect your masters, whether they're harsh or gentle. So you're going to have certain men that's going to be no nonsense. You're going to have certain men that's more laid back, all right? Yet, if it's filtered through the scriptures, I don't care how they come at you. That's Yahushua coming at you, man, all right? Matter of fact, let me close out with one more scripture to pretty much prove it, all right? That this is all a method to that. This is Yahushua himself, all right? Pretty much filtering guys out, all right? This is 1 Peter 2:6. Wherefore also it is contained in the scripture, all right? There go the scripture again, which is Yahushua, all right? Behold, I lay in Zion a chief cornerstone, elect, precious, and he that believeth on him shall not be confounded. Verse 7, unto you, therefore, which believe he is precious, but unto them which be disobedient, the stone which the builders disallowed, the same is made the head of the corner. Yeah, and another thing with being offended is you become disobedient, all right? Because it's certain levels to it, all right? You can catch hell and you can cry out, all right? Speaking for myself, I can't speak for other brothers, but for myself, I catch a lot of hell from time to time, back to back, all right? And you say, God damn, Lord, why is you coming after me like this, And that's the same what Job said. Job told the Lord to leave him alone, all right? But that's not being offended. That's actually crying out, because when you're going through fire, you're going to react, man. But there's a difference when guys become offended and become disobedient, all right? They have a problem with orders and they say, man, you know what? Fuck this shit, man. I'm not listening to no man. I'm not going out. I'm not putting up no damn videos. I'm not, going to fellowship with brothers. All right? They become disobedient. Verse 8. And a stone of stumbling and a rock of offense. And this is dealing with Yahushua, which trickles down the great millstone. All right? And we that rock of offense, which is the spirit of Yahushua rests in the body of great millstone. Just like if you take a physical body, well, your body goes back to the word house, all right? Your body is nothing more than a house to house the spirit. So the body of great millstone house the spirit of Yahushua. That's why people are offended in us, all right? It says, and a stone of stumbling and a rock of offense, even to them which stumble at the word, all right? Which that's what guys be offended, because everything, when we correct anybody, when we reprove and we rebuke and we condemn, it's all filtered through the word, man. So if you have a problem with it, you have a problem with Yahushua. Being disobedient whereunto also they were appointed. So these same spirits who was offended at Yahushua when he was on the scene, then guess what? They're going to be offended at the spirit of Yahushua, which rests in great millstone to this very day. So I hope this lesson was edifying. Until the next time I say shalom.